Nigel, good to see you. Now the dust has settled, let's get your final reflections on the season that has now passed.
Unbelievably challenging at times, and to start as well as we did, even on the very first day, to achieve the position that we did in January. I think we got to the highest league position the club's ever been in for 40 odd years, which shows the heights to which we soared at one stage, and then to finish up in 2 or 3 months later, looking over our shoulder. We shouldn't have been in that position at all. But a lot of challenges after Christmas, certainly with injuries and everything else, and things not going to plan in games. But the main thing is, over the course of the 9 months, we got there. We survived, first time in 35 years, and we're going to be better and stronger next year, we hope.
Since then, you've announced your retained list. Would you give us your summary and reasons why you've put certain players into certain categories?
Yeah, it was a difficult one this summer, because we think it was about time to bring more players in than normally we do. We usually are sort of 4, 5, 6, that sort of thing, but we thought it was the time. We'll probably be bringing 7 or 8 in, maybe even 9, depending on who stays. So it was a tricky one, assessing over the course of the season who we could best use moving forward. So some difficult decisions in there.
Yeah, you released 9 in the end. I imagine that, as you say there, that some will have been very difficult because you've been with some of those players a fair amount of time.
Definitely, and they've served the club unbelievably well in the last few seasons, and been a part of the success that we've had. So it's always very, very difficult. Hiram's been around, and even Aidan Flint played a big part in our promotion last season, and then our survival again this season. But we've got to make those tough decisions sometimes. Christy Pym's another one, who's been magnificent for a couple of seasons or so. We just felt since Christmas there's just been just a few too many mistakes in there at crucial times as well.
Let's speak about the players whose contract discussions with yourself and the club are underway. There are 5: Jordan Barry, Dom Dwyer, Lee Gregory, Stephen McLaughlin and Scott Flinders. How are those negotiations going?
Yeah, all going well. The only one really is Scott Flinders. I think he's been offered a coaching sort of playing role, which might appeal to him at his age. So just waiting for confirmation on that. But I think it's the sensible the route for him to take now. I think he's 39 years old, but he's shown out his worth to us for the last few seasons, and even on the last day of the season, keeping a clean sheet. And we're going to miss him, having him around. So we'll be looking for certainly a first-choice goalkeeper, and depending on who that is, then we'll decide what we do with Owen Mason and Anthony Nunes. It may well be that Owen could be a number 2 this season, backing up a more experienced one. We'll see what's out there.
And you've made your first new signing, Ryan Sweeney, no stranger to the club.
Yeah, not a new one really. A new signing for next season. Yeah, we always got on very well with Ryan when he was here before, 4 odd years ago. And I think when we came to the end of that first season, he said he fancied a fresh challenge, and went up to Dundee for a couple of seasons, which I think has been the making of him in lots of ways. I think he's matured and improved as a player, won the championship, or got promoted from the championship, and then had a year in the SPL. Now, when you're playing against Celtic and Rangers and Aberdeens and people like that, it is a huge experience and very important. And I think that brought him on as a player. Come back down to England, had a couple of great seasons with Burton, and we've always been a great admirer of his defensive qualities. And he'll come in and sort of, replace Flinty really, and give us that presence in both penalty areas.
Is he also captain material? He was skipper at Burton last year.
Yeah, we think so. I think that's something that we're going to have a look at, but very much so. That's another reason we brought him in, for his leadership qualities. I'd say both penalty areas mainly, but his leadership qualities on and off the pitch are going to be very important, especially with Alfie Kilgore not being around, who's been our club captain for the last season or so, and then Flinty's done it as well. So I think losing those two, we need somebody in that mould.
Player-wise, new signings, are you close to any others?
Yeah, I think we've just about agreed with 2 more, so we hope to get those announced by the end of the week, if possible. And then we've got sort of 6 on the list initially. Say if we can get 3 of them in. One of them's a goalkeeper who has been away, so I'm meeting him this week. And there's another couple. We've got a bid in for one player. So we're negotiating on that one, and then another one we're waiting a decision for. So they're the initial 6. Strikers are a little bit different at the moment. There isn't a forward amongst those. We'll have to wait and see. There's sort of 4 loan possibilities at the moment. So they usually go a bit longer into the summer and even into pre-season. So we'll continue to work on those. Lee Gregory we're still talking to, so just going back to the other ones. Dom Dwyer has been made an offer, Jordan Barry and Stephen McLaughlin, and Lee's coming on. He's out here working today with Rhys Oates, and we're hoping to get something sorted with Lee, that if his knee's okay for pre-season, that's the only concern. If it's all okay, we'd love him to stay.
In summary, sounds like you're not wasting any time. You're getting a lot of business done early doors.
Yeah, we always try to. When you have those, we've identified these players over a period of months. It's not just, we haven't just come up with them overnight. So we've been watching them for some time, and we think they're going to improve us. So if we can get 4 or 5 in before the end of the month, that would be great. Get the others tied up as well. And we'll be in a good position then going into coming back for pre-season.
Let's speak about pre-season and the pre-season friendlies without naming the clubs, the opponents, because both clubs have got to announce that once all the protocols have been confirmed. But how are friendlies going? How are those being arranged and that type of thing? Yeah,
we're just about done. We're a little bit behind with our planning. It's so difficult when you don't know which league you're going to be in until the last couple of weeks of the season, and then you're waiting on others because you don't want to play somebody in your league as well. So it rules out quite a few teams. But I can tell you, we're going to Retford for the first one, as we always have done, which is nice. And everything's a bit early this year. We're back at the end of June. The lads are back in for testing, I think the 27th, 28th of June, with the season starting on the 2nd of August. So it's an early start for everybody. We're going to have a few days away somewhere, but we'll confirm that in the next week or 2.
Any updates elsewhere?
No, everything's going pretty much. We're delighted the pitches are coming on behind us. Work's gone on them. We're having some improvements here at RH, which are absolutely vital and very, very welcome indeed. So I think everything's bubbling along quite nicely at the moment. Players are the most important thing, just trying to get those in. If you can get as many in place pre-season as you can, then when we come back testing, to get that group together, it'll be very important. So keep working. I think May always goes a little bit crazy, meeting lots of players, talking, and the existing contract offers as players contract offers. So we equal importance on those as well. We want to get the lads tied up if we can.
And in terms of the future of yourself and your staff, I understand it's just a case of dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Is that correct?
Yeah, we haven't had time, seriously, since the season ended. Excuse me, I don't think we've had much time. We've been solely concentrating on the pre-season plans and the players, but that's all bubbling along nicely. I don't think there'll be too many issues there.
Thank you.
Thanks.